Hello everyone, how are you doing? It's been a while since I last uploaded a video, so I hope that you're doing okay. I actually had to take down my previous video, so it feels like even longer, and making the video you're watching right now took me a very long time. The footage you're watching, it's from beginning of April, I believe, and now as I'm recording this voiceover is 4th of July. So yeah, it's been a while. I wanted to take the time while you're watching this video to talk to you and touch on a topic that's very personal to me, but at the same time I feel like it's something we all go through every once in a while, and that's finding and keeping motivation to create. Personally, I struggle to find motivation to create, to keep myself painting and drawing and stuff, because I think I tend to associate being creative with being productive. Maybe ever since I decided to go to university for art. After that, creating and painting, drawing, etc. became, like my profession. It never became my job, but it's like the one thing that people would say about me. Whenever I introduce myself to people and they want to know what I studied in university, what's my major and stuff, I would always say, oh, I'm a visual artist. And even though I feel a lot of imposter syndrome, because I never actually worked as an artist, I still feel like all my creative activities had to do with productivity, and maybe one day aspiring to work as a professional artist, if that's even a thing. So finding and keeping motivation to create has always been related to staying productive and doing things well. Living under this pressure I put on myself of trying to make every creation my best creation and every artwork my best artwork. Because if I put it out there, if anyone sees it, after you heard me or someone else talking about university and graduating from art school, expectations are high. My own expectations for myself are high, and I push myself really hard in everything that I do. And somehow that makes me feel like I'm not good enough as an artist. Like I have never felt good enough as an artist. So I tend to put myself down a lot, and with that comes a very strong lack of motivation to create. So even if it sounds crazy to say, I have never kept the habit of being creative and consistently work on my art. It has always been a thing of like when I'm in the mood for that, or maybe every once in a while. And the fact that I have never been able to keep a consistent habit of working on my art makes it a struggle to find motivation to start. Because when you're not consistent with something, then it's like every single time you pick up your brushes, paint, a sketchbook, it's like you're starting all over again. It can become tiring at times, and finding the reasons to start can also become hard. And the funny thing is that I've been able to push myself really hard while I'm working on something, but it's hard to push myself to start. And I don't know if you guys go through the same thing or something similar. And for everyone who has the habit of creating, I seriously admire you, to be honest. Because for me, it's been a struggle, always. Ever since I graduated art school, which was like many, many years ago. So finding my motivation to create, it's a struggle until now. And I think you can easily see that with the lack of uploads and the lack of consistency on my channel. But that's just me and the reality of things. Every once in a while, I would make this promise to myself, like, okay, this is the last time I will spend this long without drawing or not being creative. and I'm going to make it a habit and keep working consistently, and then it never happens. I feel like that also has to do with me wanting to have everything under control and having my life to be pretty much perfect before I can start creating something. And that's a very unrealistic expectation to have, because that's never the reality. And even though I know that I will start thinking, okay, once I have these art supplies, this new desk, the perfect space, or this camera, etc., then I will start working on my art as a habit. But even when I improve my space, materials, and gear, I still don't manage to stay consistent. And I will find 1 million more reasons to procrastinate working on my art. Now I realize that this procrastination thing has a lot to do with all the expectations I mentioned before. And it also has to do with creating original artwork. Creating original artwork has been extremely hard for me to do during the past few years, because when you go through a lot of things in life and you have all these experiences and you are a creative person, you will meet other people that will tell you, oh, you need to take all of that, all of those feelings, all of that pain and all of those emotions and put it into your artwork and create something with it. And I think that's a very valuable tool to have, to turn your emotions into artwork, to work through them as you create. But at the same time comes fear. Fear of these emotions being reached through my art. Fear of someone seeing these emotions and connecting with them. And that kind of defeats the whole purpose of creating art, right? I become afraid of people being able to see these emotions, and for me it's a scary thing. I've never felt ready to share any of my personal artwork. I haven't found a way to deal with that and make peace with that, and I'm still figuring it out. And that delays even more my motivation to create. Because I'm not always creating artwork for other people to see it. And I've never been the person to just put my art out there without being afraid. And I'm realizing that I'm just making everything harder on myself by thinking like that. But at the same time, it's very hard to unlearn this way of thinking. But at least I'm trying. I hope this makes sense to you, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know if any of you feel something similar or relate to any of the things I just said. So, to close this video, finding motivation to create can be hard. But if you keep the habit of consistently creating, it can become easier in time. So keep working on your skills and creating, even if it's just a little bit. Don't fool yourself thinking that you need lots of equipment or expensive art supplies. If you enjoy drawing and painting, a pencil and a piece of paper will do the trick. Lastly, don't be so hard on yourself and be kind to yourself. Don't push yourself too hard and try not to build crazy expectations. You're doing fine as you are, and just focus on enjoying the joy of painting and making art. And I'm sure that everything else will come after that, and we can figure some things later on. Enjoying the process of painting and drawing, I think it's the main reason for creating in general. So I hope that you find the little things that make you enjoy creating. For me, painting anime, it's the one thing that always keeps me going back to art, because it's the first thing that I fell in love with. I started drawing because I really enjoyed anime and manga. So maybe going back to those things that we used to love when we were kids, even before we knew why we liked them, can be a good place to start, just to make it more playful and more enjoyable for yourself. So give yourself time to find those things that you enjoyed before and that you still like. I'm so glad that you all seem to enjoy the videos where I'm recreating animes, and I'm gonna continue making them for you, but I'm also trying to push myself to show you a little bit more diversity and hopefully show you some original artwork later on. So thank you all for staying with me, for watching my videos. Every single comment I get from you makes me so happy, and you guys are also my motivation to create, especially these videos, so thank you for that, because when I'm feeling really low, you keep me motivated, so thank you. And yeah, just take it easy and let's continue doing this together and hopefully enjoying our drawings and paintings. As usual, stay safe, take care of yourself, and I send you a really big hug. I'll see you soon.